Good morning. Today we are going to discuss the last lecture in the fifth unit, that is balancing of radial and V engines. We have seen various techniques, balancing of revolving masses, reciprocating masses by different methodologies, where there are n number of cranks, n number of connecting rods are available if you consider in IC engines are concerned. Now the last lecture, which deals with balancing of radial engines and V engines, okay, where there are number of connecting rods which are connected to a single crank. There are number of connecting rods, but all of the connecting rods are connected to a single crank. That you are aware of in your IC engines theory part. So how to balance such an engine, that we will see in this lecture. The method which we use here is a method called direct and reverse crank method. The method used to balance radial engines is direct and reverse crank method. So this is also useful for short answer questions and theory part of the examination point of view. So method used to balance radial engines is direct and reverse crank method. So first we will see the analysis part, then we will solve a problem on this radial engines using the same concept. So direct and reverse crank method. So you are aware of it, there is a piston and connecting rod and a crank. This is our basic diagram for any IC engine mechanism. So till now what we assume is the mass is connected to the end of the crank, which is with a mass of m. Okay. Now in this direct and reverse crank method, we consider there is a mass m by 2 is connected on the direct crank. This is direct crank, and its mirror image, suppose if this makes an angle theta like upward direction clockwise, then there will be another theta in anti-clockwise direction like this. Okay, this is in reverse crank. So there is no such a crank exists actually. So it is an imaginary one, a reverse crank which is revolving with an angular velocity of omega with a mass of m by 2 at the end and radius is r. So this is a direct crank and reverse crank analysis, where we can write the force analysis, okay, due to the direct crank in x direction and direct crank in y direction like this. So let us see what is the force due to direct crank in x direction. So if there is a mass m by 2 and situated at a radius of r, which is revolving with an angular velocity of omega for a given instant of theta, then the force is m by 2 r omega square, and it can be resolved. One is horizontal component and one is vertical component. The horizontal component is m by 2 r omega square cos theta. So like if there is a force like this, then you can see its horizontal component is m by 2 r omega square cos theta. So this is the force is m by 2 r omega square, and this is theta, then horizontal component is m by 2 r omega square cos theta. Okay, in x direction due to direct crank. Then what is the force due to reverse crank? That is also same magnitude and in same direction. Why? Because this is revolving like this, then you can see this is also theta, then its component is also m by 2 r omega square cos theta. So this is also m by 2 r omega square cos theta. Then total force in x direction is nothing but sum of this and this, that is force 1 plus force 2, that is m by 2 r omega square cos theta plus m by 2 r omega square cos theta. That is nothing but simply m r omega square cos theta. This is nothing but, recall our first introductory class in the reciprocating masses. Reciprocating masses unbalance, the primary unbalance is m r omega square cos theta. So I got the same thing in x direction, which is the very beginning lecture we have seen. The unbalanced force in the x direction is m r omega square cos theta. We call it as F unbalance. Okay, then what about force in the y direction? So force in y direction due to direct crank, that is in this direction. This is m by 2 r omega square sin theta upward, and what about this m by 2 r omega square sin theta downward direction. X components both are having the same direction, but y components are with one is upward and another one is downward. So this is direct crank, then force in y direction due to reverse crank. The magnitude is same with a sign of negative minus m by 2 r omega square sin theta. The net force in y direction, net force in y direction, so that is 0, because this is positive value, this is a negative value, both are having the same magnitude, then you get the net force in y direction is 0. So in this way we will analyze the direct crank and reverse crank method for primary forces are concerned. So this analysis is for primary forces. Primary forces. Then what about primary couple? So there is no primary couple because all the connecting rods are revolving in the same plane, because it is radial engine or V engine or X engine or whatever it may be, all of them are revolving in the same plane. If all of them are revolving in the same plane, then the couple is 0. So primary couple is 0. So we need not bother about primary couple in radial engine. Okay, if I write the same thing for secondary forces, secondary unbalanced forces, the analysis will be as it is with simple modification Like, what is that modification we get? Now, for the secondary unbalanced forces, the simple modification is, instead of theta, this will be 2 theta this will be 2 theta, and m by 2 is as it is m by 2, and this radius will become r by 4n. Like in the inline engines, what we defined similar way, this is the secondary direct crank, and you have secondary reverse crank, which is revolving with the double velocity. So secondary reverse crank, this is 2 theta, and this is 2 omega, and this is m by 2, and this is called secondary reverse crank. And this is also with r by 4n length. So in a similar manner, what we analyzed for the primary cranks, if you write it for the secondary cranks also, y component, one will be upward and one will be downward. This y component will become 0, and the x component, so secondary unbalanced force is, secondary unbalanced force, okay, you get, that is 1 by n, okay, m r omega square cos 2 theta. So this analysis I am leaving for you. It is a simple analysis which you can do very easily with the same technique. You can write once again, like here, m by 2 r plus r by 4n omega plus 2 omega whole square, okay, and cos theta. And another one is also 1 by n m by 2 r by 4n omega plus 2 omega whole square into cos theta. So you add it, then you get 1 by n mr omega square into cos theta. And secondary couple also 0. So in case of radial engines and V engines, we need not bother about couples for both primary as well as the secondary, because there is no couple, because all the cranks are, all the connecting rods are revolving in the same plane, hence there is no couple. So primary couple is 0, you need not balance for this anything. Then secondary couple is also 0, we need not bother about it. So what we have to bother? We have to bother to balance only primary forces and secondary forces. The analysis will goes like this. We take one direct crank and one reverse crank and we balance the system. Okay. So with this analysis or with this theory, we will see a problem. So that will strengthen your knowledge in the balancing of radial engines. And I leave this V engine balancing for you. You can refer any book and you can just proceed the analysis what we analyze in the radial engine that can be applied for V engine. Instead of more number of cylinders, more number of connecting rods, there are only 2 connecting rods placed with certain angle, that you can do your own with this background of so much of knowledge. We will see a problem. So let us solve a problem on the concept what we have discussed just now, that is a direct and reverse crank method which can be applied for radial engines. One of the radial engine, the data is given like this. You are supposed to find out the unbalanced forces, both primary and secondary. Let us see. The 3 cylinders of a compressor have their axis 120 degrees is to one another, and their connecting rods are coupled to a single crank. The stroke is 100 mm and the length of each connecting rod is 150 mm. The mass of the reciprocating parts per cylinder is 1.5 kg. Find the maximum primary and secondary forces acting on the frame of the compressor when the running speed is 3000 rpm. So describe clearly a method by which such forces may be balanced. Okay, so let us see how to proceed this problem with the given data. It is a 3-cylinder engine. This is a 3-cylinder radial engine. So naturally, if it is a 3-cylinder, 360 by 3, 120 degrees apart. Even if it mentioned or not mentioned, it will be 120 degrees definitely. And their connecting rods are coupled to a single crank. So there is no couple primary as well as the secondary, because all are connected to a single crank in the same plane. Then the stroke is 100 mm, that is 2R is 100 mm, stroke is 2R, the R is equal to 50 mm. Then connecting rod length, L is 150 mm, then we know N is equal to L by R, which is 150 by 50 is 3. Then the mass of the reciprocating parts per cylinder is 1.5 kg. M reciprocating per cylinder is 1.5 kg. Find the maximum primary and secondary forces acting on the frame of the compressor when the engine is running at speed of 3000 rpm. So this is the data given to us. So we can find out with this omega value 2 pi n by 60, that is 2 pi into 3000 by 60, so 100 pi radians per second. Okay, then first draw the given data in the diagram. Like there are 3 line of strokes are there, each one is 120 degrees apart. Their line of strokes are 120 degrees apart. So, and there is a single crank which is connecting all of them. There is a single crank connecting all of them. Then there will be a connecting rod, like connecting rod 1, connecting rod 2 and connecting rod 3. So this is, let me call cylinder 1. This is cylinder 1, connecting rod 1, and initially this is the crank, a common crank. This is a common crank. And this is the line of stroke for 1, and this is the line of stroke for 2. This is connecting rod 2, and here you have another cylinder and there is another piston. This is for the cylinder 2, connecting rod 2. So this is the line of stroke for 2, line of stroke for the cylinder 2. Then this is the third one, this is the connecting rod 3, and this is the line of stroke for third cylinder. So all of them are arranged with 120 degrees each. This is 120, this is 120, and this is 120. Here there is one more cylinder. This is the cylinder 3. So this is originally connecting rod 1, connecting rod 2, connecting rod 3, common crank which is revolving here, and all these 3 are 120 degrees apart. Okay, first draw the direct primary cranks. direct primary cranks. Diagram. Direct primary cranks diagram. See, with reference to cylinder 1, the crank is here at, let me take it as a theta 0. The crank 1 is here. Okay, this is the direct crank with mass m by 2. This is the cylinder 1. Then coming to the cylinder 2, the crank is here only at 120 degrees from the line of stroke, whereas this, with reference to this, the crank for this is also here, that is for the cylinder 2 m by 2. And for the cylinder 3 is concerned, say this is revolving clockwise, cylinder 3 is concerned, this is 240 degrees, and this is available here at the same location, say third one with m by 2. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, all of them, their crank position initially is at theta 0 degrees, which is revolving clockwise like this. Then mass of m by 2, m by 2, m by 2. Okay, then we can write the maximum primary unbalanced force due to direct cranks. These are direct cranks. Due to direct cranks is m by 2, m by 2, m by 2, that is 3m by 2, and all are revolving with the same angular velocity omega with radius of r. So maximum primary unbalanced force due to direct cranks is 3m by 2 omega square r, that is due to direct primary cranks. Then what about direct reverse cranks? Direct reverse cranks. Let us draw the direct reverse crank diagram. Direct reverse crank. So let us take this is theta 0. Okay, 0 direct reverse crank. So you reverse it, 0 will become 0 only, there only. This is 1 m by 2. Direct reverse crank. Then coming to the second one, cylinder 2, this angle is 120. Now reverse it 120. So line of stroke to 120 in the opposite direction. Then the second cylinder will comes to the location of here, that is 120 this way. This gives the m by 2 for the second one. Then coming to the third one, with reference to here 240 degrees anti-clockwise, then it reverse is clockwise like 240 in this way. You get this is m by 2, okay, for the third one. So the locations are shifted like this, 0, 0, then 120 has been converted as a direct crank. This is reverse crank, direct reverse crank. Okay, so here 120, so this becomes 120. Okay, then from the line of stroke to here, reverse crank is 240. So the second position will shift it to a new position at the third position, and the third one will shift it to second position, okay, here. That means 0 is a reverse 0 also there. Then second one, 120 anti-clockwise, now it is a clockwise 120. Then the third one this is 240, okay, this anti-clockwise, then clockwise 240 is in the opposite direction 240. So if you draw the force polygon for secondary crank, for the reverse cranks, if you draw the force polygon, then you get a closed polygon. This is for 1, this is for 3, and this is for 2. All of them are m by 2 r omega square. M by 2 r omega square. So you get a closed polygon, then that indicates direct reverse cranks will give you unbalanced force is 0. Direct reverse cranks unbalanced force is 0, isn't it? Then what is the total unbalanced primary force, which is equal to, so direct primary cranks unbalance direct primary cranks force plus direct reverse cranks. So direct primary cranks is 3 by 2 m omega square r, and this is reverse crank. Direct reverse cranks is 0. So net is 3 by 2 m omega square r. So the net force is 3 by 2 m omega square r. So we can write this can be equated to B1 into B1. So B1 into B1, that is B1 mass is added at a location of B1. We get B1 is equal to 3 by 2 m omega square r, and we know 3 by 2 m is, what is the mass? Reciprocating 1.5. Omega is how much? 100 pi. R, what is the R? 50 into 10 power minus 3. Okay, that gives 11103 newtons. Okay, that gives 11103 newtons. Okay, so this you can balance it exactly opposite to the crank, opposite to crank, by placing a mass of B1. If you select mass, then you can find out at what radius you can place, or if you select at what radius we can place, then what mass you can insert or incorporate, you can find out. So we have to equate B1 into B1 is equal to 3 by 2 mr omega square. Then we get the magnitude of either the mass or the distance. You can decide any one, either mass or distance. Once you select any one, the other one can be evaluated, exactly placing that mass opposite to the actual crank in the opposite. That means this is the crank, so opposite to this crank, somewhere here you can place and you can balance it. So this is for primary balancing. This is for primary balancing. Then we will see how to balance it for secondary balancing. This diagram. Now let us see how to balance for secondary unbalanced forces. This is the original diagram. Now I will draw direct secondary cranks positions. Direct secondary cranks. We know that the secondary cranks are twice the angle of the original one. So original is theta 0, So 0 twice is also 0. So this is 1 with an angular velocity of 2 omega, okay, and mass of m by 2 for the first one. Then coming to the second one, this is what is this angle? 120, okay. Then 120 will be doubled 240. So in the same direction 240. So this is for the cylinder 2. This also revolves with the same angular velocity of 2 omega. Then this is 240. So secondary cranks with double the angle, that is 240 into 2, 480. In the same sense, if you take this is theta 0, then the 480 from here we will get 480 means this position. This is for the 3. This is m by 2, and this angle with reference to here, okay, this angle is 480. So that means so it starts here, okay, then it will be 120, then another 360, so this becomes 480. So this is total is 360, okay, and additional 120, this additional 120 makes it 480. So if you draw the polygon for this, the force polygon for direct secondary cranks, the polygon is like here, the other one is third one like this, and the second one is like this. First one, second one, this is third one. This is third one. So this is m by 2, okay. So with the m by 2, and all of them are revolving with the same angular velocity of 2 omega, all of them with a radius of r by 4n. Then they give the equal amount of forces. Then the net force due to secondary cranks is 0. Secondary direct cranks. Secondary direct cranks is 0. Then what about reverse cranks? Reverse secondary cranks. Reverse secondary cranks. So even if you reverse it, one will be there only, one, that is m by 2. Then coming to reverse, so let us see, this is 120, okay, is a direct one. Reverse 120 into twice 240. So from this line of stroke, if you measure it in the opposite direction, 120 plus 120, 240 will be in the upward direction only. That is the for the cylinder 2, m by 2. Then coming to the third one, this is 240 multiplied by twice 480, and 480 to be added in the reverse direction. So from here, if I measure it in the reverse direction 480, what will be the 480? So this is 240 into 2 480. Then if I start here 480 measuring, then it comes once again in the vertically upward. So double this angle, 0 0 there only. Then here the 120 in the reverse 240. If I here measure 240 in the opposite direction, there only. Then the third one, which is 240 the other direction in the multiplied by twice 480. If I measure from here 480, then this is 360. Then another 120. 480 this. Then secondary unbalanced force, reverse secondary crank's force is 3m by 2. Okay, that is m by 2, m by 2, m by 2, 3m by 2, and which is what is the value of r omega? This is 3m by 2 omega square r by n. So omega already known, then m is known, that is 3 into 1.5 by 2 omega 100 pi. R is 50 into 10 power minus 3. N is 3. Okay, so that gives you the amount of the force is 3701 Newton. Okay, then the net force, net secondary unbalanced force is, this is 0 plus this is 3701. Total is 3701, and this is balanced by introducing a mass B2 at a location of B2 3701. So if you identify the B value of B2, then you can find out B2, or if you identify the small B2 at what distance you have to place the weight, so then you can get the value of B2. So where you have to put this mass has to be placed. So at a distance of B2 and anti-clockwise direction. So in the anti-clockwise direction, twice the crank speed. That means if it rotates clockwise, actual one, then this will be kept in an anti-clockwise direction, twice the crank speed, that is omega. Here it will be 2 omega, and instead of clockwise we have taken direct crank, and the balancing mass will be in the anti-clockwise direction, that is the twice the crank speed. So this way both primary as well as the secondary forces can be balanced in the multi-cylinder, that is in radial engines. So we can apply a similar concept for V engines also. I leave this part to you to work out for V engine balancing, which is an analysis part. So once you analyze the solution, simply substituting the data, you get the problem. Okay, with this we will finish the 5th unit, that is the balancing both revolving masses as well as the reciprocating masses. Thank you.